Greetings, Ras Atto, greetings, Warrior King, greetings, Nanny, greetings, Asafo, greetings, greetings, greetings.
You know, so I don't even know if you put on see this.
Greetings, greetings, Warrior King.
Bless the love, everyone.
Greetings, Ras Atto.
Haile
Greetings,
Selassie
Nanny.
Greetings.
Bless the
Yes,
love,
Nanny.
man.
Go and liven up the place, man. Talk to it with the drums. We can go and do that until for a few more minutes. We're waiting on, I believe it's just Ras Iyah V, and he's gonna call in, I know, in a few minutes. Greetings, Dutty Bookman. Thank you for joining us.
Greetings. Blessings, Dutty. Nanny, your camera off.
I don't know how it got off.
Rastafari.
Blessings, everyone.
Haile Selassie the first.
Answer, Nanny.
Greetings, is that Ras Iyah V here?
I don't know how it got off.
Rastafari.
Yes.
Selassie the first.
Answer, Nanny.
Is that Ras Iyah V here?
I don't know how it got off.
Yeah, it is Ras Iyah V.
Lisa, it's on right now. You don't understand what I say.
Are you hearing me?
Yes. Give thanks.
All right, good time.
We're gonna wait
All right.
like maybe 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna give thanks for all of you joining us today. We appreciate it. I'm gonna start off with our official greeting and our drumming and libation in just a minute. But I just want to give folks a few extra minutes in terms of if they want to join us and join the reasoning this evening. Very excited about the conversation, and we'll be recording it so we can, of course, replay it and so on. I hope everybody is doing well in their respective environments and homes, and that we're all safe. I know right here, I hope the internet keeps up because we have some big lightning and thunder going on right now. Right here in South Florida. So hope the weather is better in other places.
All right, we have something similar here in Jamaica too,
How is it down there? It's still raining, or it clear up?
It's clearing up. The rain has stopped, but still a bit cloudy. But we had some lightning and thunder in Westmoreland earlier on, and rain.
Well, we're gonna give thanks for all the weather, the rain, the sun, everything else, because we know what's going on, and Jah works. We're just hoping that with this, the internet going to be just fine. And you know what? We're not hoping. We're knowing that it's all going to be wonderful. Okay.
Greetings. Checking my mic again just to see if I can be heard.
Yes, man, loud and clear.
Loud and clear, Bookman.
Okay, yeah, I'm in South Florida like yourself, Andrea, so I know I'm experiencing what you're experiencing.
Andrea. You ready? Oh, Nanny.
Yeah.
Andrea lightning just took out our internet. So greetings everyone. We're gonna start with drumming. We're gonna ask Nanny to start us off with some drumming, just to bring some ancestral energy in, and then we'll get started. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
All right. I'm gonna pour some libations. No? Yeah. In honor of I and I ancestors, upon whose shoulders we stand. See me? We are taught the pyramid builders, architects of civilization. You know, we do give thanks to I and I ancestors. Acknowledging all our ancestors who were lost in the Middle Passage, all throughout the Ma'afa, just the years and years and years Europe raid Africa, you know. Yeah, man. In honor of all the freedom fighters, all of the rebel warriors, all our ancestors who come before us, we do give thanks. And I give thanks to I and I elders at whose feet I and I sit and learn. We do give thanks.
Ashe.
And I give thanks to I and I brethren and sistren in the struggle for equal rights and justice to all, because His Majesty say a collective security and international morality. So we do give thanks.
Ashe.
And then I and I give thanks to the youths who are I and I future. Yeah, man, we pray that the ancestors guide them and keep them strong along the path of African culture and tradition. In that we shall find our redemption.
Ashe.
And I want to cite the Bingi Creed real quick, and then we get started. Prince and princesses shall hear out of Egypt. I and I, Ethiopian, stretch forth our hands and hearts to Jah. O Jah of Ethiopia, I own I find majesty. Thy irits come to all dwell in the paths of righteousness. Lead us. Help us to forgive so we may be forgiven. Teach I and I love and loyalty here on earth as it is in holy Mount Zion. Endow I with thy wise mind, knowledge and understanding to do thy will. Thy blessing to I, O Jah, the humble be fed, the naked be clothed, the sick be nourished, the aged be protected, and the infants cared for, and the illiterate be enlightened. Deliver I from my enemies, so I may be fruitful all thy days. But when I and I enemies are passed in the depths of the earth, in the depths of the sea, or in the belly of a beast, O grant I a place in thy kingland for I, for most thy Ras Iyah Jah, Rastafari.
And we give thanks for that. And I'm not sure, forgive me, but I got kicked off because lightning struck worse sound power, right? Just as I was talking to Mother Nature. So greetings to everyone that is here, from our guests to our panelists. We're looking forward to a wonderful reasoning this evening about Rasta, reggae, and resistance. Did not?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I think it's
Nanny have a chance to open up and talk to us through the drums?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I just want to take a moment to feature this, to introduce Nanny, Nan Yamka, who goes by Nanny G, and she is a West African percussionist here in South Florida, as you know. And she, over the past 16 years, her love for the djembe has led her to study and as a solo artist and company. So Nanny, please, she has what the drummers call the hand and has been part of our community in South Florida for a very long time, from she was a little girl, actually speaking to us with the power of the drums. And so Nanny's youthful energy and fresh approach to drumming are leading the way for the next generation. Nanny, please give us a sound power from your hands. Yes, we give thanks putting vibes and energy. And I want to say greetings again. I know that Weedamiah opened up. Greetings in the name of Rastafari, and it's a beautiful thing to be with you today here online in this virtual space. We distance, and we're going to have a good reasoning. I am Andrea JohnBaptise. I am the host of Synergy Radio Show, and it is such a pleasure to see so many of you who've been guests on the show, all family here, I believe, today. Thank you for those of you who are tuned in online, paying attention and wanting to be part of the reasoning. And let me just take a moment to introduce the panelists. Of course, we have Ras Iyah V, who is the founder of Roots Fest, Ganja Maker Cup, and an educator, of course, in terms of all things Rasta, as well as music, as well as Ganja. We give thanks for your time, Ras Iyah V, and I know you have a limited amount of time with us today, but we are very thankful. We have Warrior King, as you all know, international reggae artist, and one of the things that is also super interesting that I find from the King, of a family man, father, husband, artist, entrepreneur, but was also 2008, Barack Obama declared him as one of his favorite artists and Virtuous Woman as one of his favorite songs. So Barack and I have some things in common there as well. We have Dutty Bookman, our literary expert, revolutionary speaker, as well as artist in his own right. We have Ras Kidane Hartman, who is, we're calling him the Heartist, known for his, his father's work, Prince Emmanuel, but also all the work that he's done in the visual space with other artists, doing lots of covers as well as beautiful portraits of our community. We also have, of course, last but not least, we have Asafo Weedamiah, who is with us today as he opened, and Asafo is also a spoken word artist, drummer, DJ, radio show host of BLAK IWA TV, and a coordinator. Also, kind of in the background, we have Empress Elisha, Dr. Blackwood, who is helping us with monitoring and managing this internet space, and so we give thanks for that. Nanny, thank you again. I know you said you may have to go early, and we give thanks for your time, your energy, and for lending us strength. All right, so for those of you as folks join in, Dr. Blackwood will be bringing, entering folks in to the room, but also if there are any things, questions, please go ahead and use the raise your hand function, which is usually at the little bottom of your screen, so that we can have the conversation. All right, well, if no further ado, let's get started, because we are here to talk about Rasta, reggae, and resistance. What's our role in the current social justice movement? Do we have a role in the current social justice movement? So let's set the stage, because we know that Rasta came out as an anti-colonial movement linked to the newly crowned king of Ethiopia, Emperor Haile Selassie.
Andrea.
And it was the link to the Nyabingi movement. So the question of today, the overarching question that we want to reason about is, are these tenets still in place today in modern day Rastafari? And so I'm going to start with Ras Iyah V. Ras Iyah V, talk to us about the now and the then, and what have you observed in regards to any overall changes in the direction of the movement?
Hello?
Ras Iyah V, yes. Greetings.
Well, first, greeting the name of the man is the first. The name of final Empress, because we gave a minute. And the name of all our mothers and fathers, and our king life. Justice. And that's a good time. In this discussion, And it was then what it is now. When in the first place, as you rightfully said, Rasta came out as an anti-colonial movement. And it's still an anti-colonial movement, irrespective of how individuals might want to approach it. But then, I as Rastafari was so beaten down, so victimized, so discriminated against by the system. Then, and I had just myself to lean on. So there was this more love, more unity. Then it was decided to use, for example, in 1961, when Marty Planner asked the university to do a research into the whole Rastafari movement. So it is that it was decided by Rastafari elders that, because a lot of people didn't comprehend, didn't understand the movement, what it is, because being anti-colonial, was not new, but coming up in that way, people resisted it. And the propaganda machine coming from the system through the newspaper and the radio was also there, painting Rastafari in a very negative way. So it was decided by, the elders that one would use reggae music. This is not anything accidental. It was deliberately decided that reggae music was going to be the vehicle through which the philosophy of Rastafari would have been transported internationally. And so it did. But because even at that time, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, Africa, the OAU 1963, so there was a lot of black activism taking place all over the world. And reggae music was a driving force encouraging that black activism. If you remember when Mugabe, when Zimbabwe got independent, Bob went down there and performed freely. Peter Tosh was also going into Africa. So there was more awareness and concern for the black liberation then by the artists than it is now, surely. Whether it was the circumstances at the moment that push one to, to be singing certain type of music or whatever, but the music was more relating to the black struggle movement than how it is today. It's very few artists like a Warrior or a Chronix, a Kabaka, a Morgan Heritage. Very few artists now are really singing consciously. And why? In the 80s, it was deliberate act by the business people to try to undermine Rastafari, the impact that the music was having, by spending money to bringing in certain type of art out there that would negate the positivity within the music. It was when the table turned now and this gunman business and underwoman start to feel, and society was feeling the brunt of it, that they realized that it was better to have Rastafari music. So all in all, the music is still what it was meant to be, and the movement of Rastafari will always be an anti-colonial movement, and irrespective of the fashion and the style that some people might come in or come with, Rastafari is what it is, and nobody can change it, and nobody can water it down. People might try to change or try to modernize, but Rastafari is really what it is. But I see the music then as having more positive impact on our youth and the black liberation struggle than the music of today.
Yes, agreed. And I'm going to ask other panelists to weigh in, but I want to ask another follow-up question to that, Ras Iyah V. do we think that is because the struggle is not as apparent? Them not taking away and trimming away and beating away, but they hold us down in terms of human resources and resources overall. They're not saying you have to stay in your compound, but we are certainly in urban sectors and urban areas, and certain areas are white areas or other areas. Do we think it's because the struggle is less quote unquote visible at this particular time?
Surely it is. A lot of our people are taking things for granted. And Steve Biko said the greatest weapon in the hands of the down presser is the minds of the down press. So the way the system painted is like what happened in America. Before Trump came and Barack Obama was there, people were feeling good as if black is going somewhere. But Trump come back and remind the whole world that no, you're still a nigger. Irrespective of where you have reached, what you have achieved, you're still a nigger. And America is for the white. So it is with the Rastafari movement. No different. And I have gained what you'd call some form of acceptance, even though still not given the type of recognition that I deserve. But Rastafari coming out from almost every family. Rastafari become professional, you know. You find Rastafari all over. So it would seem now that everything is all right. Just like you say, it's more subtle. The oppression is more psychological and more economic rather than outright physical with the chain on your hands and your feet. You know what I mean? Or the outright discrimination that Rasta children cannot go to school, Rasta people cannot have certain type of jobs. All of this is happening right now. But who is in control of the system? Is it our people? Is it Rastafari? Or is it the same descendant of the former slave and colonial masters? I think as it is now, we are far, far, far from being free. We are far from being liberated as a movement, and it means those of I and I who realize have a greater work, have a greater duty and responsibility to ensure that the movement keep being what it came about to be.
Aye, what a word. Preach, elder, teach, elder. We give thanks for that. Anybody want to weigh in on anything that Ras Iyah V just said, or do I want to go to the next question? All right. So, Bookman, current day literature, as you are our literary expert, are the social justice issues addressed within still addressed within Rasta now and then in what we're seeing in emergent bodies of works?
Okay. I'm still getting a message that my internet is unstable, so hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yes.
So, first of all, give thanks again for the gathering and for having me here as well. I'm very honored to be among ones and ones who I see here, who I know and who I've also not yet met, but, have seen names and know that these names ring out to the four corners of creation same way. In terms of literature, I also wanted to say I really take Ras Iyah V's word into account. I really agree, even though I don't have the years of experience that he has, I can see where what he's saying makes sense. When I analyze what I know of history and what I see around me in my time upon the earth, we do have a long way to go in order to really say that we're liberated. And I do think that every point at which he has highlighted where the movement has ebbed or flowed, it makes sense to me from my study of the history and from my experience even interacting with the music industry as well as the creative industries. In literature in particular, I do feel like the same sort of waning has occurred, for the very reason that was expressed in that. Yeah, we live in nicer now, you know, we're not the same. We, you know, younger ones like myself especially, who were born in the 80s and beyond, we don't have that experience apart from stories and oral tradition of being seen as the black heart man. Like, we just don't have that, you know? And so we always have to remember that we're standing on the shoulders of people, ones who were very convicted and very firm in their Babylon at the time when it was not cool. And we during that time, as he pointed out, Mortimer Planner and other ones, you know, linking up with the UE, and a lot of people, you know, documented their stories in some way that could be passed down to our generation. In our generation, I think the same sort of firm in terms of written documentation of our stories. You know, my book has been out for 8 years, going on 9 years now, as a very simple narrative of someone who found Rastafari and interacted with the system in different ways, and observed and documented his feelings on the system. And in the going 9 years now, I haven't seen many others in my generation who I can say, yeah, we have done a similar task in terms of documenting this Rastafari trad. So that is pretty, you know, when I think about it now, that's a really disappointing thing to have to say, because there should be more of us documenting the history. I know of one or two others, and when I, you know, important books that have been written by ones in my generation, but it seems to be still just it's like repeating what the elders came and took on a phase of desensitizing people to the doctrine and the liberty of Rastafari. And when I look around, that's what I see being repeated, which, yes, we need to keep the fire blazing, but there is a Babylon evolves in phases, and we have to know what we're putting out and what information we're disseminating and propagating is adapting to the conditions that Babylon have the people under. What are the new things that need to be said now? What are the ways that we need to express ourselves in order to push forward and make people realize that Rastafari is still here, and that we still are fully anti-Babylon, with anti-colonial, with anti-oppression, and we don't care about skin color if you're an oppressor, you know what I mean? These are the things that people not realizing, you know, people are realizing less and less in our time. So in terms of literature, I think the landscape looks like it's been watered down a little bit in terms of what is being put out there in terms of literature.
I was gonna say sparse. So yes. And so, you know, you said that we need to, there is a need, and there is definitely holes. You have any particular recommendations for the next generation or this generation? I mean, we do have some young folks right now, you know, observing the panel and so on, that they should be looking at in terms of the forthcoming literary bodies of work.
Yeah, I think what I always try to express to people in this generation, and people who look at my work, especially through our publishing company, Bookman Express, that, you know, my family-run company that I set up around the same time when I launched the book, currently run by my wife and myself, and my son is getting involved now, that our stories are valid. And the point is, we're just simply not documenting our stories anymore. And it's not even to say that, for instance, everything that I write is not about trying to get people to see the Rasta way of life or something like that. I think we're at a point now, especially in the history of Jamaica, where Rastafari is pretty much synonymous in Jamaica, with Jamaica, in terms of the liberty of Rastafari has penetrated everywhere in Jamaica. Even I can think of people in my family who will not say they are Rastafari, but when you really check it out, certain things them say, certain things they do, it is ingrained in our DNA, you know. So what we need to do as Black people now, and to fit into the wider Black liberation struggle, and to even lead it, is to put out more of our stories, and for people to see that within Rasta, it's not that there's a one cookie cutter Rastafari personality that fits all, but it's that we have come to the point now where we are able to diversify the ways in which we bring our message across, and it's just by our liberty and by how we behave and how we the value and our character. By that you will see what Rastafari has to offer to the world.
Good word, good word. Yes, yes, yes. Words of encouragement to the future and part of struggle. I love that. Ras Atto, having lived in several nations, what has been your experience with the global movement and impact of Rastafari? Dutty Bookman just talked about it being, Rasta synonymous with Jamaica. What has been your experience around the world, particularly as you've lived, I know, in several of the African nations?
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie I, and Empress Nanny. And before I'm even say anything, more of say fire burn to all those who have took part in demolishing the monument of His Majesty in Wimbledon in England, and also in Ethiopia of his father, Ras Makonnen. Well, in Tanzania, can speak for in Tanzania because Tanzania is the country where I live the longest. Speak fluent Swahili, which I'm on gift thanks for. I'm on whole man taking a man from Jamaica and bringing a man to a African country, letting a man know the language and going through certain tribes and thing and getting to know the traditions, some of which I might agree with, some I don't. Because we can't just say, oh, because we're Africans out in the diaspora, we're just going to accept everything where happen in the motherland, because there's whole heap of tribes and there's whole heap of things where I don't respect. We don't respect a lot of traditions. Anyway, in terms of Rastafari, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Ras Zanaki Sokoni in the 1980s. Ras Zanaki Sokoni is from England. Ras Zanaki Sokoni, and he repatriated to Tanzania. And the first Nyabingi ever, the first Nyabingi order in Tanzania was started by Ras Zanaki Sokoni. Ras Zanaki Sokoni. The youths, because the only thing the youths them used to listen was basically reggae, which is of course Bob Peter and Bob Peter Burning Spear. And I talk about Tanzania specifically. And but Ras now bring that livity of Rastafari to the youths and healing up His Majesty as the King and I Redeemer. And youth start coming and thing and start get to full up on the traditions and the movement. There was differences, like for instance Swahili. Ones and ones felt like for the creed, certain of the songs shouldn't be in English, it should be in Swahili. So there was a device, because understanding what they are saying, I might understand what they were saying, but at the same time, we're talking a Swahili speaking country, and the youths them holding that order within what it was at the time, because we got the creed from Scott's part. At the time, there was a little pamphlet and thing where we photocopy and we distribute. the youths got a chance to learn English. But when when you put it into Swahili now, it's only the man them where actually know English would be able to translate to the youths them what it was, and some of the translation wasn't right. So there was a battle between. It kind of split into one. There was two groups. Also, ones and was saying that Kilimanjaro was Mount Zion, and this is in Tanzania specifically. Youths and youths branch out from that after the man Kwetenga transcended, and I move on to Kenya. And when I went to Kenya in the Kabira ghetto with the Rastafari movement there, it was beautiful, just like how you that there at Jamaica. Man, them hold the order and everything. Them same hygiene there when you go there, you know, those are the hygiene that will welcome reggae artists from Jamaica. And you know, you get your feet washed, which is a welcome to Kenya. You know, take off your shoes, wash the item, you know, wash the item feet, and welcome the item to the motherland. I haven't gone to South Africa yet, but I have heard that, you know, the order is up full and strong in that part. Ghana as well. Lived in Ghana for 3 years, so the movement there as well, you know, is Isla food. Basically, everywhere is on the continent where Iman have been, they are holding the order. There's just certain differences. We can go further into. I would like to go further into music. Iman is not a big talker. I talk with my pencil. You know, that's what I do most of my talking. Them Iman is. I talk with my pencil. But Iman feel just by listening, because I listen to a whole heap of music. Music is a part of the inspiration to my creation. Can't do an artwork without music. Right. There is a lot of what I would say is watered down music, watered down in our way. If I go up on Reggaeville right now, 99% of the music on Reggaeville is not upful music. It's watered down reggae. There is no substance. There is no substance. There's nothing to hold on to. And so I have to just go forward and go into my little collection where me have and just listen forward the music. You know, I have to give thanks to the High Warrior King, because the High throughout the years, the High have been up on the path and the High have not shared away. And you know, give thanks to the High and the High family. That's why I had to create an artwork with the High, because just the artwork of ones and ones that do with I spec. You know, so give thanks for on the path and still moving forward. So
give thanks.
Yeah, you know. So in saying that, I'm saying that with reggae music, and it is still a powerful factor, as I know that music is a powerful tool. And if it's that kind of reggae we are going out there, the youth them will go astray unless, you know, they are searchers and seekers of knowledge. But if you're not searchers and seekers of knowledge, we're out there, you're not gonna have nothing for hold on until you go to the roots people and where you have to go dig up for.
Yes, you know? Yes, good word. And you know, it's a good segue into Warrior King, because we are so thankful for your livity that we see very visually, and we can hear it as well, the word sound and power, because your music has always seemingly merged the social, the cultural, the religious aspects even of Rastafari. So talk to us about that journey, and even with globalization, and I believe it was either Dutty Bookman who spoke about and Ras Iyah V, but the entrepreneurial pieces or the business pieces where we get in the fight against the positive music. So talk to us about your journey, your trod, and how you've been able to keep so upful for all this time.
Yeah, man. Greetings, everyone. You know, greetings to the panelists. Greetings to everyone in tune. Bless the love. Rastafari love. See? Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Empire Life to the First, King of King, Lord of Lords, the conquering land of the tribe of Judah. Greeting in the name of Empress Menen. Saying, well, I'm honored to be here, a part of the panelists, expressing myself. Give thanks to Iyah V, Bookman, and everyone, give thanks. I thought give thanks to the whole JohnBaptise, big up yourself, everyone, Asafo, Andrea, bless up yourself, and the sister that played the Naya Bingi, I don't remember her name, Yeah, man, bless the love, man. Well, the journey. Well, tour, know about Warrior King, but I was treading the path a long time, My journey, before you ever came on the scene, as a Rastafari, I made it my point of duty from I get the calling and have this deal and this love. I made it my duty to chat to all the mansions in the house of Rastafari, the Naya Bingi house, the 12 tribe of Israel. I've been to the Church of Haile Selassie. I've been to the Orthodox. I've been to School of Vision up in Blue Mountain. I've been to actually all the different mansions, educating myself, to know about His Imperial Majesty and know about what he's all about and what the Rastafari movement is about, so I can align myself properly. So when I go out there as an artist, I can be a good representation, a true representation of what a Rastafari is, And my journey has been beautiful. It has been great. Ups and downs, a lot of obstacles at the same time, but it has made me strong. But and to being a musician now, a singer, it has taken me to the four corners of the earth. I've been to almost all the different continents, spreading the teachings of His Majesty, as best as I can do, whether on stage or off stage, I try to be exemplary in my liberty, my family is very instrumental around me because, my wife is my manager and my children bring the joy. So, I try to travel them most of the time if possible. So, my journey has been great. But you see, from my perspective, what has watered down the reggae music too is because, you see, a lot of the entertainers, that's my opinion, a lot of the artists them in the music who are Rasta, I think a lot of them get caught up in the hype. A lot of them have lose focus on the vision, We are talking about the 1961 because I was fortunate enough to meet Marty McPlanner because I'm a student of him, So I learned a lot around him. In the latter part of his life, I was the one taking him all about the place, when he was living at the University of the West Indies complex, I've met Jaja elders in the movements, and as I say, I've been to different mansions. I think that has important me, So the youths them, what I think distracting the youths them from Rastafari in the music is that the youth them hear the music, but at the same time, when them see the lifestyle of the virgin and the system, them is like it don't correspond, Not saying that I'm a perfect person still, but you can't be Rastafari and being an alcoholic. You can't be a Rastafari and have 6, 7, 8 women at the same time. Certain things that His Majesty never stand for, So my journey has been good, and the teaching of His Majesty is what keeps me grounded, And in this time and age with globalization, we give thanks to the internet. We give thanks to modern technology, like the social media platforms and like the Zoom now, so we can spread the message faster, and even wider, So we do give thanks, And well, Bookman, I've said some important things to it. Bookman said the youths nowadays have to start write books because I love reading. I read a lot of books that were published from the elders, and we need to have more of those types of books, Yeah, so it's a good vibes, and the shot has been great, ups and down, and the water down even. I had to say a while ago about Reggaeville. Right, like other than that, it's just a politics thing, Everything is just politics. Even getting a song played is like, even some radio stations in Jamaica, I can say for personal experience, them say they don't play slow music, If you can't come with something with a faster beat, all kind of thing, them try to discourage you, But I'm always grounded and know that, your works have to be done. A lot continue, the works continues, Yeah, man. So for this moment, just give thanks for being here. Give thanks to the moment and give thanks to everyone, you know. Rastafari. Blessed love.
Yes, blessed love. And so good word, write more books for the youth, live the liberty of His Majesty. And I sometimes ask, has anybody read any of the works of His Majesty, read the teachings of His Majesty, because of sometimes of our liberty? But Weedamiah, this was your idea. You felt the desire. Talk to us about why this conversation is so important and what spurred you to create this forum tonight.
Greetings, everyone. Warm bless up all of the panelists for showing up, you know. Dutty, Atto, Warrior King, Ras Iyah V, Nanny, Mabrak, Andrea, all of the people who tune in. Yeah, man, we truly appreciate love. You know? Yeah, we truly appreciate love. The item tuning in, somebody that talks me off camera. Well, what really initiated this discussion still is I man love reggae music, right? Everything I do revolves around Rasta and reggae music. You know? Because to me, even before me hear Iyah V said it, it just felt intentional as reggae being the vehicle for Rasta to the world, you know? Because you can say like Rasta in its infancy and reggae in its infancy, and you watch the growth of both of them, you know? And it's like, throughout the years, listening to reggae music, I've learned so much history and culture from reggae music, you know? This reggae music let me know of His Majesty's reggae music let me go read the first Marcus Garvey book, like it's reggae music. So it's like coming through the years now, you have seen reggae influence a lot of different movements and revolutions. So with everything going on in the world right now, you know, being a radio disc jockey also, I look music to play to reflect the times we live in. But I find myself still up here draft the Bob Marley, Peter Touch, Warrior King, Sizzler, you know, and with the exceptions for, you know, the Jesse Royal, the Protege, the Kabaka, for the most part, you can't really find no music where reflect the struggles of the times of today. Like most of the panelists have said, the thing water down. So since today is International Reggae Day, and them have said, this is my reggae, I said, I have to claim it and try to do something to bring reggae back to the space where reggae is a music of substance and stand for something. But like Bob Marley said, reggae is a music that fights for the oppressed people anywhere in the earth. And I might not take that lightly, and that's what I see reggae for, but majority of the music today don't reflect that reality at all.
Yes, So let me ask the panelists, whoever would like to weigh in on this. Does Rastafari still empower reggae, or is reggae empowered by something else?
The Rastafari still empower reggae, you know. Rastafari still empower reggae because as Asafo said a while ago, you have youths like Kabaka, them, the Protege, the Chronics, them, myself and many others who still sing reggae music, you know, with respect to His Majesty. I know His Majesty, you know, at the Most High God, you know. Yeah, we always bear that in mind. So we're still empowering the music, you know. Rastafari still empower the music of reggae music, you know, in this day and age. I'm confident of that. But you see, it's a commercialization now. The people who control the media now, making it look in a different way, you know. But you still have the hardcore core people. Them like when Iyah V keep Roots Fest, a Rastafari festival, a Rastafari musicians, and
I think we have a little bit of a freeze here.
Yeah, freeze up.
Yeah. All right. So anybody else want to weigh in on that? Ras Iyah V, when you are hosting Roots Fest and so on, and you're empowering, do you still believe that Rastafari still empowers reggae music? Because we talked. Okay.
All right. Andrea?
Yes, sir.
Andrea?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm driving, right? So give me about 10 minutes. I'm listening. I'm still listening to the program. But
Yes,
give me
sir.
about 10 minutes, and then I can come in and make a next contribution.
We give thanks. Yes, you drive
All
safely.
right.
All right. So,
Yeah,
Warrior, it
man.
looks like you have unfrozen. You were about to talk about the commercialization in music.
Yeah, well, I said it's just the media, you know, the people who control media. They're making it seems like Rastafari don't empower reggae music. You know, I have a lot of advocates like myself and many others who using the medium of reggae music to spread the gospel and the teachings of His Imperial Majesty in this day and age, you know. So, you know, we have to just be more unified so we can be more forced to be reckoned with, to be honest, you know.
So when you say unified,
Bookman,
we're talking about Rasta community, we're talking about music community, we're talking about a combination
well,
because
I'm talking about community, the Rasta community, you know, because a lot of times I go to shows. I don't know if I'm frozen. Can everybody hear me?
we can hear you
Bless
now.
the Lord. Greetings. I don't know if I just think the weather there was a lot of rain where, man, coming in the hills of St. Elizabeth. So, you know, but I think both, you know, both the Rastafari community and the music, the people advocating Rastafari in reggae, we need more unity, you know, because a lot of time we go to shows and it's like, when we go backstage, one set of we over there, and everywhere. We should be one, you know, because we're sending a message of one love and unity and things. So we're supposed to be as one people, you know, definitely.
So let me ask you all this now, okay? In my Capleton voice, is music, reggae music in particular, still a mission or is it just a competition?
Can I take that one there?
Jump on
It's a
in.
mission for some, a hustle for some, and a competition for some.
Yes.
You know, like some people still live on the mission, some people have never left the mission. And you can feel the sincerity in their music. Some people you can see say, I hustle them, I hustle the music. Because any fad that comes along, I dare so the music go, you know? And there's nothing wrong with creativity. But that content, like where Ras Iyah V when I talk about that anti-colonialist stance, you know, that pan-Africanist, that love for Africa and pride for Black people, the teachings of His Majesty. A few, you say, remain steadfast to that in the music. For others, it's just about music, or some is whatever is hot commercially, and that me I go try make because I try make a money. And then others, them just I try compete with the next DJ. So if an artist or a DJ have a tune like this and it hit, I gonna make something like that or try make something better than that. And then when the next artist do that, you know. So you find all Rasta compete with all the gunman DJ them and all them things because they get caught up in a competitive space. You know, them want to show say, oh, me can do that too. Instead of them try rise the artists them above them levels there, you know.
Yes, I. So, Bookman, you had unmuted. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, this is the turn that this conversation has taken is really exciting to me, you know, because I think it's something that should be discussed. And it's particularly exciting to me because I never really had any I never had any history in the reggae music industry until I went and opened my mouth and coined the name of the reggae revival movement.
Mm-hmm.
That forced me to get to know a lot of happenings in the music industry. And as time progressed, I became a tour manager and worked with artists on tours in the United States in particular. And I've learned so much. And one of the things that bothers me is that, you know, and even to connect to what Ras Iyah V was saying, I always keep in mind that I'm in a place where during Bob Marley's era, he was on the verge of really penetrating the North American space when he passed away. It was almost like a final frontier, like to get to the minds of especially Black people in the United States, which he was not able to achieve before his passing. And so all these decades passed, dancehall came in, obviously not the space, but what is known as the genre of dancehall came in. the North American music space depends on a certain kind of pop culture vibe, a certain type of watering down. We know that we can get into the complexities of who runs the industry here and what they view or how they view and interact with Black music that they are financing and creating and what they decide must be put out, as opposed to maybe what Black people really wanted to put out, you know, the early pioneers of Black music. But we reached to this point now where I literally heard one time, and it's like I can't get this memory out of my mind, an organizer of one of the biggest festivals in North America, and I'm not going to call names because that's not what this is about right now, but one of the biggest reggae music oriented festivals in North America. The organizer was on a panel and the organizer said out of his own mouth that in order for these reggae musicians from Jamaica to flourish here in the States, they need to kind of tone down the Rastafari business. So just put that into context now and overstand said this is what people were working against. And we have a generation now that has come in. We have analyzed all the pitfalls, the trappings, the obstacles, all the things that happened to the elders along the way. So many who are without a pension today because of just misguided dealings in terms of the world of business around the music in the place that is the capital of capitalism, if you want to put it that way. And to penetrate this space, ones have had to adapt. I personally really love, like what Asafo is saying, even among my peers who I love very dearly in this time, when I am DJing, because I also select, as ones may know, when I am selecting and when I'm listening to music for my own pleasure, I'm mostly going to go back to music from those harmony groups from the 60s and 70s and dub music, and this is my passion, you know what I mean, when I play. And even starting to play in DC, I noticed that there were no spaces for that. There was just, whenever you go to something called a reggae party, it's just whatever did penetrate the top 100 over the years. And you're just talking about a couple Sean Paul tunes, some Shaggy, and you know, some big roots tunes too, but it's like the same ones every time. So you can't go to 2 parties in a row and experience new, edifying, soul moving music. So that's what made me start selecting. And DC luckily had an audience, especially the Ethiopians there. Ironically, Ethiopia, you know, Ethiopians in Ethiopia are showing a side that ones and ones may have known in terms of their disregard and their disrespect of His Majesty. But luckily the Ethiopians I know in DC love His Majesty, and them love when I play and talk about His Majesty. So I got to build my name in DC for that reason. But outside of DC, I took upon myself to finance a little tour for myself, and I went to different parts of the country. And honestly, I was disappointed and appalled to play in some of these spaces. And even moving here to South Florida, where we have so much yard man and yard woman and whatever, and so much rasses around the place, sprinkle about the place, I still find it uncomfortable to play in certain spaces because, because people, this is the conditions of now. We are in some of the worst of times culturally. So I applaud now those who are able to look at the conditions, say them a Rastafari, and somehow manage to penetrate into positions in the music where they are seen as leading on the forefront of this time. I think that is remarkable. I know that they have to make certain concessions, some of them, and that is their decision as each man have, you know, doing own thing a little way different. But at the same time, we have a lot of powerful youths now rising up in this time who have kind of, you know, burst that seal, that Babylon kind of seal up in this territory in particular since the passing of Bob Marley. And so we have opportunity, I can say, that was better than 10 years, 15 years ago, where we can make advances in a space like this and start to lead again in terms of the message.
True.
Good word. So let me ask you, what does that look like? Because yes, South Florida, enough of us are here, but the demons here are real. I mean, for real, right? But what does we in the capitalistic space, we're in the culturally worse times, as you've said, Bookman, as you've alluded to, Weedamiah. After you were very clear with Reggaeville. So what do we do as a community, as a people who respect Rastafari, love Rastafari, live in the liberty, also want to hear and see more of the messaging in the music? We know that we have a few young people, or a core rather of young people that are coming out, and they seem to be propelled. But what do we do to galvanize whatever is going on at this particular time, and maybe even take it back? We backward, forward, ever backward, never. But taking it back to that space of unity, of love, of respect, of the messages of His Majesty. What can that look like? What would be a first step for us, even the 16 of us on this panel tonight? What could that look like?
I will definitely yield some of this time to others, because I realize I'm talking a lot and I tend to talk a lot when I'm ready. But I think it begins with what the word has come up in various ones' mouths already. I heard Warrior King mention it, and I heard you just mention it. Is unity. Like, we have to figure out how we're going to come together, and as we say, organize and centralize. We're good now at organizing, you know. We're fairly good at organizing for our own families or communities, whatever. Is the centralization mission that is lacking, and that can only happen through His Majesty and Empress Menend. So I will leave the floor for other ones to expound.
Give thanks. Okay, so first step is unity, right? So we organize. How do we centralize?
Yeah, Andrea?
Yes, Ras Iyah V.
Yeah. And you were asking me something, right? But just to touch on the question that you asked, and you know, to support Bookman's statement in the sense that, you know, as a people, we have duties and responsibilities. You know, there are those of us who have to make sacrifices, who having seen the vision, you know, you just have to act. But definitely, and I wouldn't look for 100% coming together. I wouldn't look for 80% coming together. But you see, it's just a percentage of I and I as Rastafari, because the greatest step in our 1,000-mile journey is the first one. And once you make a step towards doing something good for Rastafari, individuals out there will see it, group will see it, and you know, and eventually, you know, it will grow. You know what I mean? But there's no question. There are those of us who have some serious duties and responsibilities, because some of I and I are in the core, some are on the periphery, you know, going wherever the movement goes. There are those of I and I who have to ensure that the movement goes in the direction that I and I ancient created the movement for, and that, you know, and our ancestors, wherever they are, their eyes will sit comfortable, because they know that what they did was not done in vain. So each one of I and I, the sacrifice, the journey might be long, and the sacrifice might be burdensome in our way, but, you know, just look at the works of His Majesty, and I will get comfort, you know, in whatever I and I do.
Give thanks for that word. So, Ras, I told you, did you want to weigh in on something?
Yes, Rastafari. It's an honor to be on this panel, also here in the elder, Ras Iyah V. So, you know, much love and honor and respect to the elder.
Did you want to weigh in on something?
Yes. I think the elder just said something. I think that's and the Adrian Bookman said, and I also, Andrea said about unity. because the thing about unity is that you can't force ones and ones to come together. You know, you see, like me as an artist, like I said before, music is a big influence to every single piece do has a playlist. If you go on Iman artwork, them you will see the playlist that fuel and that give me that energy and fuel that particular work. There's a lot of artists I would have loved to see collaborate. And you know, that to Iman right now, it's not like it's impossible, but I have never seen it. So unity is not a forced thing. So like the elders say, ones and ones just have to keep on doing what them doing. And the blessing of His Majesty or the works itself will solidify that, so it can manifest into strength for I and I. You know, but at the end of the day, you can't force ones and ones to come together and move as a unit, because they, you know, I man sit back and I see many things going on, and you know, just as an artist, and you know, just you know, looking at what's going on, and as I said before, collaboration I would love to see happen, and it's possible because ones and ones are in Jamaica. You know, even the ones that are outside, and even when ones and ones travel, ones and ones still could go and go to studio and do certain works together, but it's not happening. And what can we do? You know?
Good question. So Bookman, you have a suggestion for unity.
Yeah.
I'm reflecting on His Majesty, right? As we say, as a centralizing figure, and I think we all agree that. I heard Ras Iyah V echo that as well. And I feel like in my experience, the way that I have seen the most unity was actually during my time living in DC as well, because I started to attend study groups by an organization called the Universal Development of Rastafari. And we would meet every Saturday inside of the Sankofa bookstore in DC, and we went through the entire book of speeches. So every week is one speech, and everybody reads a paragraph, and we go around the room. So everybody has a chance to even utter the words that His Majesty has uttered, and we pause and reflect on each paragraph. I find that brought our unity, because now it took it out of the realms of what is a man conception of His Majesty, and it's just, here is His Majesty, and this is what His Majesty said, and he's very clear. His Majesty don't talk in parables, right? His Majesty tell you what it means. He uses, and this is one of my main attractions to His Majesty, because I pick my words very carefully in writing too. Like Ras Iyah said, my pen is my weapon. So when I'm talking, in a moment, I may use a wrong word that is not getting fully across. But when I sit down and pen my word, like I will check the dictionary for synonyms and them things for certain kind of words, because the meaning behind the word is what I want to get across. It's not about if somebody can handle a word or not. Like, we all have access to information now. You can Google any word and get your definition. So that there's no excuse in this generation to really say what we mean and to really analyze now what His Majesty meant. What are these blueprints that He left for us to know that this is how we must operate in the post-colonial world. This is the new world now. This is the post-revelation world that He has come to set up for us, to understand how to operate in this world and how to be of kingly character and queenly character as well.
Good word. So, you know,
Andrea?
Yes, please weigh in, Ras Iyah V.
Yes, why I refer to His Majesty's work, right? For example, in the whole Rastafari, you know, even a percentage coming together, it will not happen just like that. You know, and such, I like to look back at the effort that His Majesty Haile Selassie made, along with people like Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, you know, in order to bring about, for example, the OAU in 1963. It took conferences and meetings and discussions. You know, the OAU didn't just snap up and come up like that, you know. So efforts have to be made by certain and that's why I emphasize those of who envision, you know, certain things. Just know that you don't leave, you know, the fulfillment or the implementation of those visions to others. You as an individual have to make the effort, and then there naturally others will see it. But you know, it is going to take effort to bring about anything. It is going to take sitting down, planning, you know, because now is not a time that I come to preach gospel and ideology and philosophy. Those things have been preached already and the music is carrying. This is a time now for liberation. What elders was preaching about and talking about. This is the time now when I have to, you know, some people would call it the political aspect of Rastafari, the political aspect and the economic aspect of the whole Black liberation movement, you know. So it is going to take effort, you know, this generation, younger generation, but trust me, you know, we have duties and responsibilities to perform, you know.
Yes, Ras Iyah V. And so, you know, let me to based on what you have just said, yes, the teachings of His Majesty, from generation to generation, and much of his teachings were considered revolutionary because we're speaking about self, governance, community, family, God, forward, progress, unity, right? Is there reggae a part of that musical revolution? Is there a musical revolution as it relates to reggae, to Rasta, to resistance? Are we seeing that?
Yes, a lot has been seen, especially in the past. Now, and I've seen a small amount of it. Because even at, you know, most of these big reggae events are not owned and controlled by Rastafari. They are owned and controlled by people who have money, who, some of them, if they exploit, they want to exploit the movement. But I don't know that Rastafari is very marketable. So, you know, they will keep events, they will go into music production because it's all about money. But in terms of the message and the purpose, you know, I'm not seeing a lot of that. And that is why you were asking me a question about Root Fest. That is why I keep an event like Rastafari Root Fest, because I don't want to present the most authentic form or the most authentic event. Sorry about I'm on the road, you know. Just want to present something that the international community can come and see, something that reflects the authenticity of what Rastafari is all about. In all its different aspects, in the food aspect, in the herb aspect, in the music aspect, in the health and wellness aspect, just to reflect what Rastafari is all about. And as such, we don't sell alcohol, we don't sell meat and fish and those things. We just want to present Rastafari in its most authentic form, you know.
So how do we, yes, Ras Iyah V, and it is important, and Roots Fest is absolutely important to the progress of what we're doing. So I want to ask the panel, in general, how do we ensure, because we know it takes money, right? We talked about the unity. Someone talked about the fact that the groundwork has already been set. Jaja, forgive me if I butchered your name, but it's time to act. So how do we take the next step in this hyper-capitalized society, in this culturally worse time, to create more festivals, more opportunities for Warrior King, for the Janines, for the Kabakas and the proteges and so on?
Well, Warrior King is going to come in.
It froze a while ago. I didn't hear the question. Sorry about that.
No,
Andrea froze a while ago. I didn't hear what she...
oh, so sorry. So what I'm saying is, you know, in many cases, we Rasta, first of all, we don't own the venue, you know. In some cases, we don't even own the music per se, right? Because we know that artists get shafted all the time in terms of their royalties, their copyrights, and so and things of that nature. What do we do to ensure, as you said, King, that reggae is Rasta still empowers reggae? Have, you know, very few authentic reggae functions. What do we do to ensure that we are creating more of the substance over the hype in the music, in the venues, in the activities?
The Rasta community have to, I would say, we have to come together and pull the resources together. You know, we have to be more instrumental in our own movement. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you have more Rasta producers, more Rasta promoters, and we have to just support each other. You know, like I have as a promoter, we keep it show every year. We always try to make ourselves available to be a part of his show. You know, work with whatever the budget is and whatever. You know, so we have to just come together. Like Bookman in Florida. Bookman organize, and when him keep show, link up all the I and we just work with him and build from scratch until it become a big festival or whatsoever, you know.
Good word, good word, good word. Anybody else with other thoughts? Absolutely. Absolutely. Pooling of the resource. So I've heard unity, I've heard pooling of the resources, I've heard definitely relying on the team.
Sorry, my...
Yeah, man.
No, what you see, with all of what Bookman said and Iyah V said, for me, I think His Majesty has laid the blueprint for all of us. You know, if we follow the blueprint that is laid by His Majesty, I think we'll be on the right path, you know, in the right direction.
So I want to step on, I want to go into a little tricky situation. Okay, and I don't fireball me out too badly, right? But with the many mansions of Rastafari, and in some ways the liberty, the look may be a little bit different. How do we start to bridge that gap and bring those mansions together to pool these resources? Because I know that there are times when, and let's be real, right? This one don't want to necessarily deal with that one because of whatever the case may be and so on. So I don't mean to air with dirty laundry, so to speak, but sometimes we have to air the dirty laundry so we can start make the progress. So I'm going to put that one on the table.
Andrea, so when you start talking about mansions now, it's like let me start thinking about church, see? And them think they are religious thing, and we don't really do religion. So I don't know where this mansion thing come from. I over say everyone are going to accept the fullness according to their overstanding. But Garvey say let no religious scruples nor political machinations divide us. His Majesty said religion is personal, but the state is for all. For me, I say, let us check all of the religious things at the door and let's talk about the affairs of the state. You see me? The things where we all can agree on. Let's leave all of the metaphysical discussions about His Majesty for our leisure and discuss the poverty, you know, the crime, the miseducation, the colonialism. Let's discuss the things them that everybody are going through and leave the differences to the side. We can iron those out afterwards if we need to. Because I don't think we need to still. Because how I want to see His Majesty is personal to him.
So what you are saying is let's take the social justice pieces, leaving all the other pieces behind.
Yeah, leave the mansion. Like, you know, if you want Benaya being, no problem with that. You want me Bobo Shanti, no problem with that. But at the end of the day, we're all African and we all want African redemption and African unity. Or at least I think we all want African redemption and African unity. So may I say, you can work on that without having to start talking about which mansion and that mansion and, you know. that is for when you want worship and reason amongst yourself and do that. But now I said, like Kwame Ture said we needed a Black United Front. Well, amongst Rasta, we need a Rasta United Front. Where all mansion, we leave all of that out of this United Front. We just leave that aspect out of this United Front.
But Andrea?
Yes, Ras Iyah V.
You know, each one of I and I will have, and I will agree with what the Virgin said to a certain extent, right? But the reality is that there are different houses and mansions, you know, especially in Jamaica. It all started in Jamaica. 12 tribes spread internationally. Nyabingi spread internationally. Bobo Shanti spread internationally. So, you know, the mansion, the houses and the mansions are there. But I and I have certain things in common, as the brother is pointing out. So make and I deal with what I and I have in common. The difference we can leave behind. But definite effort. I and I in 1987, when David Makonnen, Haile Selassie grandson, came to Jamaica, I and I made an effort, you know, with even his suggestion, that I and I set up the EIUC, the Ethiopian International Unification Committee, which was the first effort made to centralize the movement, because irrespective of what is going on, and I have to be able to speak and act with one voice, nationally and internationally. After that went down in 1994, and I set up the RCO, the Rastafari Centralization Organization, and then again it went down. 2007, and I set up the Millennium Council. So the efforts have been made and good results have been achieved in the effort to centralize the movement. But then this greed and this hunger for power by some brethren and sisters, which years ago those things were not within the movement. You know, it was just one love and Rastafari glad to get together, just to be together, to go burn a chalice and to, you know, eat some food and praise Rastafari. No, it's all about, you know, power. But irrespective of who is fighting for power, there are those I and I who have to ensure that as much as possible of the houses and the mansions will come together. And just like the OAU in 1963, when the OAU was established, it was just with 32 independent African states. And then it went on until the whole Africa became politically liberated, not economically, but politically. So it is I and I that at whatever point it starts, but there must be this effort to centralize the movement. It might look like a dream. It might look like fantasy. But at the end of the day, that effort must be made. Because, you know, so much people look to it. A lot of individuals out there, a lot of groups just want to see something positive happening for them to say, look, I'm going to give support to that. So, you know, again, it's an duty and responsibility to ensure that these things are, you know, established.
Yes, Ras Iyah V, and yes, Asafo, a good word in terms of, yes, let's look at the commonalities and not the division. Let me ask this. Are those things being addressed? Is it through the reggae music? And, you know, there's some things it seems like we're doing well. What are those things? And what are the areas that we definitely, if we can walk away tonight with saying a call to action in my house, in my community, we're going to do these three things, at least to start the unity, to start the commonality, to ensure that we're putting back the message into the music. What are we doing well and what are we not doing well in the music? Through the music.
I just want to add quickly. What I admire about the music now and where Rastafari involvement is that from a business point of view, our Rastafari musicians are more are becoming more aware of what the business aspect of the industry require. And as such, you know, Rastafari will not allow themselves to be as easily exploited as in time gone, for example, what happened to Bob and other Rasta artists in the 60s and in the 70s. In terms of what, you know, is not being done, that I should be doing, one thing I don't like is that Rastafari, to a large extent, is just now being seen over a period of years as entertainers and nothing more. You know, the revolutionary aspect is not being attached to Rastafari as such anymore. They are just entertainers, and they can be bought and sold. Any politicians, any guys who, even though I am a musician, know that these people are evil, these people are wicked. Once a price is offered to them, it's not like in time gone. Got opportunity to go to South Africa in the apartheid and refused. You know, I have to come off the call now because the credit is running out. So I just want to wish all of you all the best, and the struggle continues. Rastafari.
Yes,
Blessed
guidance,
love,
blessings, and love. We give thanks for your time, Elder, and the good word and the teachings this evening.
Rastafari, you know.
Your Majesty.
So we're doing well in the business aspect, but Rasta performers or entertainers. And you know, I saw a post by somebody the other day that said, just because somebody have lyrics that say so and so don't mean that they are so and so. And we know that there is a divide oftentimes, the public life, the private life, and so on. But what else are we doing well in terms of Rasta, reggae, and resistance? And what are we not doing so well that we need to reshape, revisit, and retool?
Go on, Dutty.
Oh, sorry, I think I just interrupted somebody.
No.
Go on,
Go
Okay, so I think one of the things, and it's a matter of perspective too, even though we can say that certain aspects of the message have been watered down, I do also see the flip side of it. When I really reflect and I look at, like I said, how some people have penetrated the music industry in a time where there's a lot of spiritual and cultural decadence. They've managed to find a way to become relatable to the youth of today. And they're not leading them astray necessarily, but they're not coming to preach. Like Ras Iyah V said, we're past that phase now where everything is out there. If somebody wants to search, they can find, you know? So it is telling then, let's put it this way, it's telling that the ones who are fervently putting forth His Majesty's message, more often than not, are not penetrating certain markets, but the ones who are penetrating, they're coming with a vibe of unity, positivity. It may not be potent Rastafari, message, but they always, if you really, I'm very keen on how they deliver messages and sometimes how they slip in certain things into songs, and it's like they do it in a very subliminal way, you know what I mean? And I think it matches the time. I definitely would love to see more of the potent Rastafari messages penetrating. This is something that needs work. And that is a collective effort. The gatekeepers now, especially the ones, because it's not just the artists to blame. it's the ones who are on radio and, you know, can write articles for the newspapers and whatever, who they might be Rasta, but they also, or they might love Rasta too, but them just say, these are the thing where I carry the swing and them can't really, they don't know how to make it work or whatever. So there are pressures even in that angle where you have to figure out how to be more courageous even as gatekeepers, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, as a member of the media, and I tell people all the time, I don't want such and such on my show. People reach out to us. I don't want this message on my show. I don't want that genre. I don't want whatever. And I know people get offended, but at the end of the day, right, as a Rasta woman trying to live the liberty, because nobody is perfect, right? There are certain things that I know are important to me, my community, and that's what I want to propel. Now, we get pushback, and I've had people that don't talk to me, right? Because I'm saying, I want to come on and I want to have this message and I want to share this and bring my person on the thing, and them don't talk to me. So how do we ensure that we continue to, because it you know, I have to take the lick on my forehead from time to time, but how do we ensure that we continue to see that this intersection of Rasta, reggae, and resistance continue to grow and thrive and not diminish? Because me feisty, so I'm in a business if you don't want to talk to me, right? Because of my convictions and my circumstance, but not everybody feisty. What can we do to strengthen our community so that we can stand firm in the liberty? And the messaging, particularly on the radio. When I listen to commercial radio here and my child is in the car, sometimes it makes me cringe, right? So how and what is that message that we can share with young Rasta artists that's coming up to strengthen them so that they don't always have to slip it in subliminally, but they can be, like you said, Bookman, potent and revolutionary?
To be potent and revolutionary, I all look on it like say, all right, Bob was very subversive. You see me? Like, who the cap fit, crazy bald head. Like, Peter was more in your face and forceful. Two different styles, you know. But both of them were able to penetrate a market and become relevant because they kept it authentic. More time, I feel like it's more the gatekeepers that, like what Dutty has said, more than anything else. Because it's just repetition, you know. If I hear something 100 times, me I go like it. Me no care where it be. If you play it long enough to the people, them, eventually it's like it's stuck in them head. You find yourself sing it all when you don't want to sing it. Because that's a commercial radio becomes so dangerous now, you know. You see me? Yeah, man, because it's like they play it every hour. Or, yeah, and it's like the same songs over and over and over. By the end of the day, you find yourself humming this song. So now, the gatekeepers start play the Warrior King every hour. You see me? Start play the Kabaka every hour. Start play the Janine every hour. Start. Then a same way it go penetrate the people them subconscious, you know. So we need a space where that music can be played because people do want it. Oh, I know that people do want it. Look what's happening in the world. There's a consciousness out there in the people, and the people consciousness is being awakened, but nobody now really address it and reach out to the people in the way where, you know. So I do agree with Dutty says sometimes you have to deliver the message in a way where someone will listen. But if you try to tell someone something and you tell it to them in a way where they don't listen to you, then what's the point? So I do over that, but I feel like the people them want the message, but they're not getting it. So they're just listening to what they're getting.
And so, yes, Warrior King. So waiting on that one for us.
But say you hit the nail right on the head. I agree with everything Asafo said, man. Right. The people them need, never sound say, Jackie by the pulse chant. We come to give the people what they need and not what they want, right? So there are many artists out there You understand? Who are giving them the potent, powerful Rastafari message, but they are not being heard because of the politics of the industry that presently exists. You understand? That is the biggest obstacle I think we have. Because there are artists out there, male and female, who are doing the music the right way, giving the people the teachings of His Majesty, but they're not being heard because when they carry music to the radio stations, they don't want to play it. If you're not giving them money, or you're not a part of a certain clique, or you're not sell your soul a certain way, or you're in a certain type of thing, if you know me I talk about, they don't want to play music. So you have to water down nowhere at all. For the people that want the message, because we'll go a street, or we'll do a road, everywhere going to the world, people say, yo, we need back some of the real, authentic reggae music. Them need it. You understand? Them need the vibe, but them not hearing it. You understand? So I think as Asafo said, the gatekeepers are the one who need to step up and free up the thing so people can hear the teachings of His Majesty in the reggae music. You know?
Bless her, bless her, bless her.
John,
Yes, sir.
Greetings, friends. Give thanks for the gathering, give thanks for the joy, you know. Forgiveness, little horse, step on the road, I just saw work. You see me? But I just wanted to speak a little bit about the artist development. And you know how long how long artists should take to develop before they're ready. And also, why is it that the older artists don't take the young artists on tour anymore? So I would like anybody can speak upon that. You know, give thanks.
Well,
Artist development.
Yes, artist development, because I feel like they take about 5-6 years. The artists really develop themselves fully. You know, that's just my opinion still, you know what I mean? So I just wanted the item to really give them opinion. And also, why is it that older artists stop bringing the younger artists them on tour?
Who would like to weigh in on that?
Well,
Man says something.
Bless
Oh,
her.
go on, Warrior.
No, man, speak.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of the about the development part, because Hyman is not a musician, Hyman can't speak about on that part. But looking forward into the time of youths like Dennis Brown and Sugar Minot and you know Yami Bolo and them all them youth there, I think you're born with it. There's not a time factor to, oh, you have to take a certain amount of years. Okay. You know, you're born with it because them youth they sing. When you go back to all them videos and see how them youth they have mush it up from them young. All right. In terms of the older artists them now, I feel like it's the ones who are what I'm calling promoters who are bringing the artists them to those places. Because I did a day I look on a show of Abyssinians, a 2-hour show, I think in France. Show bad full joy the whole show, but it's not them who go on that. You know, it's them can't say make them take a Warrior King and let's go. It would be the people we call them promoters who actually bring them over to Europe. And now go forward also to Weedamiah did say the same thing. Warrior King came on that as well in terms of yeah.
You broke up a little bit there, Atto. One more time.
Oh yeah. So it's the promoters who actually are the ones who make the arrangements them for the artists to travel. And I feel like it's the promoters are the ones to really focus on. And even in terms of all right, good reggae music, because earlier on Warrior King and Weedamiah was talking about ones want good reggae music. That is true. Because I'm going to Kenya. And you say Kenya? The first time you go to a Richie Spice concert, me never know about Gideon Boot. But it's still sing the previous album. And when me go to Kenya and in the crowd, I sing Earth a Run Red. Them and I'm going to him new song them. All of the Kenyan people them sing the track them from the new song, from the new album. I mean, don't know it yet. So roots reggae message, Rastafari music is loved within Africa. Me can't want that for a place like Kenya. You see, I don't know if the Warrior King ever touched Kenya yet, but Kenya would embrace the eye fully because ones over there love music with potency and music with message, and them are gonna sing it word for word. For word. And you can look on Europe right now. You look how most of the older artists them are Europe, them are really eat them food, you know. And where them are sing. Now the same message them, man, when you look like Pana Abyssinians, them not change the message. Are the same message, you know? Their message is still relevant. Still relevant. So people want it. So yeah, it's the media as well. And where the media push and where the media force down certain ones. Sure, just like how Weedamiah said, him say, if you play a song, even if you don't like it, you'll hear it ringing in your head. So a real thing. I just the media for play what I'm supposed to play and promote the consciousness as well. And promote the consciousness, man.
Yes.
Because the consciousness is needed and the people want it. But I want them to force feed them every day.
Yes, yes, Otto, absolutely. And so Warrior King, you were going to jump in on Chanta's question as well.
No, what I was saying is that bless up Otto, you know, good point. But the first time I went to Europe, I opened for Abyssinians, you know, even though it wasn't. Yeah, but even though it wasn't them really say, all right, we want Warrior King on tour, the promoter was the one, and the booking agent was the one who arranged the package, you know what I mean? With myself and Abyssinian. But it all varies with the budget, a lot of things, it plays a factor, you know what I mean? When you're bringing an artist on tour, because, you know, the expense of things, and sometimes you want to bring a young artist too, but sometimes the young artists, some young artists want a big salary too, you know. Like they don't understand, so they might get a promotion for it, or the opportunity where they have a create for them. Some of them don't look at it that way, but once some have the right attitude and the time is right, I don't think any artist would have a problem bringing a young artist on tour, be it male or female, you know? Definitely.
Let me ask this. So Chanta, I think what I heard you talking about also was mentorship, right? So you talked about artist development, you talked about them going on tour, but what about the mentorship in the music as well? Is that happening? No. Does that need to happen from the elders, you know, to the up and coming and emerging artists? I'm throwing that one in there.
Yes. Yes, the mentorship is very important, because I feel that you always have to have someone, you know, as if they're older than you, can teach you a lot, because they've been there, they've done that. So.
Yeah, Mike is on mute, King.
Yeah.
Unmute, you think?
Give thanks. Like I was saying, the mentorship is very important. See, because when I was coming up, Weeda was my mentor, and that was very needed. You understand? So I feel that the artists, the younger ones, you know, you can go check out one and say, all right, oh, this song, oh, this song. You know what I mean? Instead of just go put out the music, and, you know, have nobody I say, yo, I don't think you should put out that yet, you know. You know what I mean? So I just feel that it's very important. Mentorship, all around. Community-wise, spiritually, economically, yeah. Give thanks.
Yes, and I just want to say, to point the privilege that my mentor is actually on the call today. Daddy, big up, Don Daddy, the Galaxy Note, that is my mentor. And my other mentor, John, is here as well. So we give thanks. I'm surrounded by love and mentorship. All right. We have 10 minutes more into the schedule.
The phone refused to put my name there.
Say that again?
The phone refused to put my name there, because normally most it come up with the right name. I mean, I don't know why it put that.
Let me formally introduce you. My father, Don McDowell, on the line, Galaxy Note, right? My mentor. So we have 10 more minutes, 9 more minutes, and there are a couple of things we want to accomplish. If there are any folks in the room that would like to weigh in on something, if you haven't, I'm going to ask that our moderator, Alicia, Dr. Blackwood, is able to unmute everybody so you can jump in. And then I would like to apologize. I got a little bit flustered when my internet went, and Mabrak Jaja was supposed to perform, so I'm going to ask him to also perform if we can do that as well. But are there any questions from the audience or any further
Just
discussion?
one thing real quick.
Yes, Rita.
Yeah, he's a Gaviite, you know, as well as a Rastaman, he's a Gaviite. Like, my whole Gavi close to me, and Gavi talk about self-reliance, you know. If you watch the movie Rockers, you see Arsmouth say, all right, I'm going to take control of music business, you know. Them start distribute record and them things. We here talking about the gatekeepers. I think more of us as Rasta have to become the gatekeepers so that we can let in our people, you know. So we have to start taking control of like radio shows, you know, start becoming the promoters and start penetrating that side of the industry. Everybody don't have to be artists, you know. We need the promoters, so we need the media and art, you know. Just like how you have Atto does the art and Dutty write about just the culture, and like we need all the other medium them to come in now and help strengthen the thing, and we have to also become the gatekeepers and start making sure say, okay, we can shoot through the artists there, we can shoot through the one that can make a good message, and you know.
Yes, I.
Yes, I. Just one question. Dutty Bookman, blessed brother. Just a quick question. What are your thoughts on Rasta economics right now?
Okay, greetings. I'm not sure who that was speaking, but greetings. Rasta economics, boy. I don't know if I'm in a position to speak wholesale about Rasta anything, to be honest, but I know that in terms of just the thinking of ones now, I think that who was it that alluded to it earlier? It may have been Ras Iyah V, that even if you look on music, but even broader than music, we have more ones now who are more entrepreneurial, where we're making, you know, a name for ourselves in different fields. And I think that it's coming together, you know. I think that, like I said, organizing is not our problem anymore. We can organize in our isolated, you know, zones, but it's centralizing and connecting the dots now that's going to make it all work. Even with the whole music discussion, like, you know, yeah, if we don't penetrate all the spaces and, as Asafo said, become the gatekeepers, then and connect to each other, communicate with each other. You know what I mean? Because His Majesty even point out that a nation who don't communicate becomes a laughing stock. So if we have to be able to connect with each other and know that one over there, you know, deal with this, that one over there, deal with that. And we will find that we're in more of a better position to cooperate with each other and get to the level of cooperative economics now.
Give thanks, my lad. Great answer. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So as we start to wind down and wrap up, some of the things that I heard we're doing much better in business overall, from the music business, as a Rasta community overall. We still are empowering reggae. Yay, that is great news. There are some things that we can continue, and jump in and correct me if I did not capture it all, but the unity, the focus on the messages and the teachings of His Majesty and Empress Menen, becoming the gatekeepers because not everybody have to be in front of the mic or in front of the camera. And even today, through social media, I was sure that as we talk about This Is My Reggae and International Reggae Day, to highlight a lot of the people behind the scenes, because we big up the artists and we know that their product is important and it is the conduit, but there's so many people driving it behind the scenes as well. I heard in terms of pooling our resources, the opportunity for mentorship, looking at coming together even more for now cooperative economics, not just in the music, but in the overarching space of our communities. Did I miss anything in terms of this discussion tonight on Rasta, reggae, and resistance?
We need more rebel in our music.
And more rebel in the music.
More female artists.
The rising.
More of a Caribbean involvement as well, not just Jamaica only, but the entire region, the entire Caribbean region, to love the music and contribute to the music and to bring a different perspective on it as well. Same way.
More of a diasporic approach.
On that note, I definitely want to. I can't make this conversation end and we don't mention Von Benjamin. Yeah, that is a big inspiration and should be to all I and I in terms of potency of music, carving out his own space and his own, not to say no man is an island, but just using him as the avatar of his group and his collective, and carving out the spaces and surviving and thriving and edifying all I and I through word, sound, and power, so it can be done,
And Bookman, that is exactly what and who I had in mind. People like Vaughn, who have taken the music, who have accepted the music, love the music from long, just decide to, do his own thing and make it work for not just himself, but for everybody and for reggae as a whole,
Yes, I believe he is a symbol that was sent for us to know, say, we can do it, what I mean? It can happen in our.
Yes, thanks. And so before I invite Mabrak to come and close us out for the evening, are there any parting words from our panelists? Weedamiah, Chanta, Bookman, John, Atto, Don McDowell, Mr. or Miss Blair, Jaja, Dwight Campbell, Keith Magazine, Dr. Alicia Blackwood Wall. And we give thanks for Nanny. She had to step off, but we give thanks for her for opening as well. Are there any parting words? Anything else anyone would like to jump in before we ask Mabrak to come and close out this wonderful discussion and reasoning of the evening?
Yes, sir. No, go ahead.
No, I just want to thank everyone again for your full participation, This is the first inaugural. It's something we intend to continue and to grow and to develop it, to add more of the arts and to add more of the diaspora, like Rasta say, so that we can really grow this music that we love. This is my reggae, So we just want to give thanks to all of the panelists for making themselves available.
Yes.
And to you, Andrea, you don't know, for hosting and for our moderator behind the scenes, Dr. Blackwood.
Yes. Yes. We give thanks. And I thank you all for allowing me to be your host for the evening. And I thank you all for taking it easy on me as well. Good vibes, good energy, good word. All right. Who else? Was there somebody else who wanted to say something? Warrior King?
Yeah, I just want to re-emphasize that His Majesty Haile Selassie I has laid the blueprint for African unity. So if we follow that blueprint, I don't think we're going to have any problem in the future, His Imperial Majesty has laid the blueprint for all of us. Reggae music is a divine music. So the teachings of his, Bob Marley said, give us the teachings of His Majesty. We don't want to do with philosophy. John said, spread it to the Caribbean. Peter just said, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're African. Bless the love. Rastafari, I love everyone. See? Give thanks.
Thanks. We give thanks. All right. Anybody else? If not, I welcome.
Yeah, I'd love to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think part of the resistance, respect to all ones in the meeting. I sat here quietly and just enjoyed the meeting. There was another one going on here, and I chose to be in this one, and I really I'm thankful, you know, for being a part of this discussion, just listening and thing. I think part of the resistance that is necessary is for a concerted effort be made to teach the youth our Black history. A lot of the youth today are not, certainly here in Jamaica, them not, it seem to be interested in that. I mean, the bling and the whole of that. And the consciousness that I'm supposed to have. Part of the reggae movement, I grew up in it from the 60s. And what I realized that a great part of the push of reggae across the world came out or happened during the era of the Black Power movement, when that was a strong movement. And so people like Bob and Peter and Bonnie and many others, Burning Spear and others, were actually motivated then, put it that way, just using that word, pushed along by virtue of the fact that that consciousness was there. And that is missing among the youth. And therefore, one of the things that needs to be done is that the whole scale demoralizing, and when I use the word demoralizing, I mean lack of moral values, as well as lack of consciousness of who we are as a people. We need to resist the push to create a set of Black people who don't know what them roots. And we need that, and the music must carry that message.
Blessed.
Yes.
Yes. Responding to what Kingman just said. Hailing from Mobia as a young youth, currently, 20s good. As regards to what you're saying about the young youths, not having that drive or that confidence or that resilience, I must strongly disagree with you, because I know a bunch of young youths from Mobia, specifically speaking to Mobia right now. From Mobia, when you listen to music, you go realize, so that youth are really think about something different, something really different. So it's just that you need to really connect out with the younger one them, because the younger one them did it and the younger one them ready. And me, I speak as a younger one as well, right? Keep magazine there, keep magazine ready, keep magazine a push out, we are push out. So I just, we connect with the right elder them, and the right elder them to connect with we, and show we the proper guidance. We can know, say, all right, we already have certain things, we can already utilize technology to a certain level. But we use that and work if we push to a different level, push to a bigger scale, which part we can reach even more. Because at the end of the day, everybody have their own opinion and their own perspective. So we're not coming to change nobody's mind. The only thing we are coming to do is educate and inform. Once you educate and inform a man, he can make a conscious decision as regards to what he wants. And everybody else since this day and age. Get what I say? So at the right man them link up and show how we use the knowledge of we have now to garner the correct results. If you get what I say, understand?
So it
Yeah,
sounds,
I was just speaking generally in the context as a person who work among youth. I teach young people in all across the island in the music business, and so I'm speaking generally. Well, you will find pockets of young people who realize what's happening and trying to make a change. And when we talk about resistance, I'm talking about systematically resisting the thrust to have the young people not know their history. For example, we still don't have Garvey being taught in our schools.
good one.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm not disagreeing with your point of view. It's just a very general statement that if you're talking about resistance, one of the things that we need is for the movement to make the message as well as the levity as it is great. But however, in whatever way that one can influence, we're not talking necessarily about trying to change a man in terms of making him do certain things when no one, but certainly I grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, right up to now. And my consciousness as a Black man and as an African, right, is at a certain level. Plus, I saw the development over the years. So I'm saying the youth in general are not being exposed to those historical things in our society. And many of them now is just the Black Lives Matter thing that actually makes some of them start to think about certain things.
That's true, you know, and by extension, you know, it's not just that, you know, history and our whole as regards to we as Black man and Black woman, you know, that history, it's not really being taught in school, you know. So even for we, even myself, speaking for myself now, is if me if you know certain things about my culture or my race, me never get taught in that. As since me grew up as a man now, I may start realizing certain things, I may start do certain research into certain ancestral things and ancestral parts and them things that me start to realize that my history is stronger than it is. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm researching that now and start to realize, oh, listen to that elder you talk and realize, you know, so that elder they say something, wow, me do that question in myself and then we go to the elder now and start ask the elder. I saw me get to know certain things for myself. But what I'm saying is that even though, like, just like how me as a younger youth grew up and say, well, this not make no sense, and start do certain readings, and because I spot on me in a know and the magazine, me get to connect with certain people who me can ask certain questions, you know, regarding certain things and get to have a clearer and a better perspective and understanding ancestral parts and them things. You have enough youth out there, you know, who would have want that understanding, but guess what now? They don't know or they don't have avenue to the elder to say, you know, what's the elder? I have that question or the puzzle my brain.
I'll keep asking. Yeah, you're breaking up, but I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to a couple of things, because I see people saying that they do need to go. If you have not read the chats, please go ahead and put in your contacts, because it sounds like we all need to stay connected. So for all of you that are on the panel as well as that are in the chat room, if you would like to be available, to be accessible, to connect with each other, put in your contacts in the chat. We already have some. And I do know that I see Bookman saying that he has to leave because he has another meeting and things of that nature. We will stay on and continue the conversation if we must, as we should. But for those of you who do need to go, again, we give thanks for your insight, your energy, your words sound power tonight. And we hope that you walk with guidance. Before we continue the conversation, let us get our future a chance to share with us Mabrak, Jaja here tonight as we talk about reggae, Rasta, and resistance. Take us home, Mabrak.
Go, Jaja.
Bless the love, bless the love, bless the love. You don't know the real Lightning King, Mabrak Jaja, here representing on this international reggae day. You see, what I have for everybody tonight, what I like to call a Who Am I medley. Just different little verses about who am I as a person. So I'm gonna take you on a little journey. The first piece I'm going to do is the very first song I've ever written. I was about 5 years old when we started writing the song. All right, take it from me. Yeah. Okay. Look. Yeah. Hey, black people need to rise up, rise up. Black people need to wise up, wise up. Black people need to rise up and wise up. Black people hail Rastafari. Black people need to rise up, rise up. Black people need to wise up and wise up. Black people need to rise up and wise up. Black people hail Rastafari. Black people need to get up and fight for the rights. You gotta use all your might, use willpower. when you're about to fight. You don't have to beat them up, you can use words. You can send them letters like it made the world the first. But if they strike first, you better strike back with a hard fist or some pen and paper, cause that's right, yo, we gotta work together. That's right, we gotta work together. That's right, we gotta work together. Work together, work together. Yeah, yeah. All right. So, we are Rasta, and we have to work together. We have to unite. We have to organize. But another big part of me, some of the more trivial things, them. I'm a huge basketball fan. So let me give you this verse here. Ready? Yeah. Check it. Look. Check it, hey, I said, hey, yo, it's me, and I'm bowling on the beat. I got lots of skills when you call up on me. I'm a basketball star, a young MC. When you try and move me, it's like punching a tree. Everywhere I go, the girls trying to flirt with me. But my guards get a scare, they don't know the real team is out over there. Heading to the gym to do a light workout. Yeah, I listen to stick, hashtag Bruce Lee. I fight them all day if I could. Oh, God, please, but basketball is my job. Can't you see? If you're going for the hoop, you have to run through me. I'm in the center. I do this. I can't be beat. Bowling every day. Shot clocks going, man. The pressure's on me. I put the ball up. Yeah, switch. That's me. I keep going. There's no one to stop me. I wreck everyone who despises me. Yeah, life's tough, but playoffs all for me. Good job, everyone. Pats you on the back, but what they don't know, they said this kid was set free. He can fly and soar and maybe dunk on KD. Yeah. And the next part of me, right? I love comic books. So let me take you on this one. Yeah. All right. Hey. Look. I rhyme quicker than Quicksilver, so don't test me. At a young age, rap God, it couldn't best me. I could Sama Duma Lama on every single beat, so at the stage, it's not even a feat. See, everybody want to claim OG, but me, I am a joke. G.I. to be exact. And I'm on a mission, defend all the blacks. I got so many skills that I'm ready when Cobra attacks. I'ma send them home, hide in plain sight with my glasses. Then when it's time, I'm a Superman, let's keep it PG. Head on down to DC, I wanna go to Gotham, sneak into the Arkham, find all the crazies that think they could take me and flatten them out like Darkseid did the J-League. I got them shot, they must think that it's steady. Now here comes a stupid dude that knows that I'm bulletproof, but still gon' empty the clip of his Matic. He acting too erratic, he need to keep his cool. Even Mr. Freeze, he got a short fuse. Maybe y'all don't get it and you need a different view. Just think why no one likes a submarine. It's all in my demeanor, but let me chill out. Seems like in real life, I'll be the banner, but when I hear these beats, I bulk up, then I hulk out. And as with the more trivial sides of things, sides of me, really, there's this undenying fact that simply I am a revolutionary. This is the last piece, yo. Hey, look. I said the state of the world got me all up in my feelings. The state of the world don't want to see me chase no millions. I do this for my people. If I lead this beat, then it'll probably be lethal. I strive to see my people making strides, not hopping from sinking ships because they see a low tide. Nations and places that don't really care. You supposed to be a citizen. Why your skin work affair? I swear, outside a home that it just ain't safe. They just keep us around because we the best display. Slaves that's supposed to be free. We never ran away. All we do is holler for masters, help all day. So let us hop on this boat, sail away so far. Don't worry about it, sinking, send this boat's to your. The Black Star Liner, the fleet has arrived. Yo, we traveling by seas, but also taking the skies. Yo. Come on. The real lightning king, Mabrak Jaja. Signing on. Give thanks.
We're traveling by seas, but also taking the skies. Bop, bop, bop.
From jam rock to hip hop and everything in between. This is my reggae. What a way to celebrate International Reggae Day. Good reasoning, good reasoning, good reasoning. And on that note, if we don't want to continue the reasoning, or if we want to continue the reasoning, I would say good night.
Mac.
Give thanks to all of you.
Blessed up, John.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, long time no see.
Yeah, man. Yes, yes.
We're there still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We're still there, man. We're not going away.
Not going away. Love the reasoning, you know.
Yeah,
So
man.
we go,
About time.
go continue or we go end the meeting.
Can continue.
Warrior King, what you say?
They are same way, man. Everything nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Well,
Everything
that's
crisp,
smart.
man. Yes.
As I was saying before, you know, we just need to find a proper avenue where, as a youth, me as a youth, you know, and you guys as the elders, we can find a proper bridge which part we can get the information across, because we have youths out there which part want the information, understand, but it's just that they don't have an avenue or they don't know where to turn to get the correct information. And most of the times when I sit down and reason with somebody, now fellow youths and think we young and we have to sit down and reason more while. I realize that them have the basic principle and the basic understanding of, you know, what needed. But it's just to expound on it a little more. And just so them get lost in the reasoning. You understand? Because remember, you know, if we are going to discuss a TV, you know, then we'll take it from a technical point. Then if we are going to discuss a TV, as a technician, you know, we can't just look on the TV from a one-dimensional perspective, you know. We have to take it apart, so we have to take out the screen, we have to take off the motherboard, we have to take off the components off our motherboard. Then after we take off the components off our motherboard, we have to go trace the circuit to see where exactly the fault is and where exactly you get what I say? So I saw we go in depth with the reasoning with the youth as regards to the history and where we are come from and the vision of to which part we want to figure. And at that we are search for as youths. As me I said, the only reason why me kind of have certain levels of reasoning are because at the magazine, Keith magazine, and me get to speak with elders like, you know, you guys, which part me can really understand certain questions what me want to ask myself. So how we can make the connection that I bridge there. Because we really need it as youths, we really and truly need it.
We'll do it right now, Keith, because we have your information and we'll link you, because, yeah, man, the bridge there need to, and we are in a, what you would call it now, in this COVID era, the world has gotten even smaller, as His Majesty said, and so distances are shrinking and the world has gotten smaller. So it's like, these meetings now, these online meetings, we can have more online reasonings just even with the youth, them, you know? So, like me say, we will keep the link and we will set up more reasoning, just even you can gather the youth them, or we set up something and then the youth them can come in and we just have an open and free reasoning more time on the Zoom or whatever.
May I ask, Keith Magazine, greetings, and it's so nice to hear your perspective. Let me ask you, tell us a little bit about the magazine. I'm not familiar, forgive me.
Oh, well, Keith magazine, Jamaica's first ganja magazine, you know. Advocate for the plant ganja, everything the plant ganja is about, from a cellular level to which part we smoke it, you understand? So we dissect the plant, we dissect the buds, we dissect everything. We are sure you say, oh, this little plant here have over 400 chemical compounds in it, and we still are searching more of them still, and each chemical compound have a different perspective, what can do different things, from health and wellness to recreational activities to a daily lifestyle, which part we are talking about clothes, building materials, and all of them things, you understand? So we're based in Mobile, Jamaica. You can find me on Instagram, Keith Magazine. We basically try to promote everything ganja from Jamaica. As I know, Jamaica basically the golden state, quote unquote, you know. Now go really copyright that one there still, but the argument we go use golden state with regards to ganja. You understand anything ganja, first place people think about a ganja. So we really and truly need to show them how Jamaica deal with this thing. Then, cause now one way, even though when them think about ganja, they think about Jamaica first. To some people, them kind of have a, you know, stigma towards based on Pan American, you know, history and all of them things there. So we are trying to show them, say, yo, that I history and put up on a different levels, because right now, check it. We have the university who do great things as regards to research. Understand we have other people out the same way who do great things as regards to research. Even though I'm not going to agree on you, when it come on to certain regulations and rules, we kind of move like so same way, but we're not going to totally bury on that. But we're just there to inform and educate people.
Give thanks for the overview. And I did just follow you on Instagram. I'm going through your thing. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing the information.
Leader!
I'll send you my email address here, Keith Magazine.
I'll go on with Weedamiah.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Yeah, man. All right. I got lock out now. Ato, blessings.
And I just want to say, Daddy, I give thanks for your word in terms of teaching of the youth, because we have that conversation, and Gavi is not taught in many, many places. And I thank you because Black history came from you, from the roots, from understanding who we are. I mean, there's so many messages that we stay with us, and even though you don't really call Rasta, so much of your life is a testimony to Rasta liberty. Shh.
There's not just she about, man. I saw it go. You don't know the consciousness there, so we can't accept certain things.
For those of us that are still here, Mr. McDowell is also a pastor, a Christian pastor. So that's why I said the shh, because we go through certain discussions and so on, but the consciousness is there, and that's where me get it from. And every one of my siblings, my brother is is a big ganja man. So Keith Magazine, I want to introduce you to Dutty, because he just opened
as I told him, respect. As he spoke about the magazine, I thought of Dams. And I say, so I posted in my email address. Don MCD Godson at Yahoo. So him can hold a reason upon the history, and we can hold a reason and set him up with the link with Dams. So
yes. Full circle.
Reggae music is a spiritual thing. That's what Junior Lincoln always say. And me believe that, because from your youth and I learned to play music, it has always been a spiritual vibe.
I agree. 100%.
Massive respect. Warrior King.
Big up yourself,
I don't
man.
meet there yet, but I hear much.
You meet me now, man. You meet me now.
In person. In person, as it were, as I would say. Yeah, but massive respect here, son.
Thank you, man. In the near future, hopefully we meet, Give thanks.
Yes,
Give thanks
man.
for being here.
In due course and time.
Yeah, man, thank you. I've learned a lot, just being here. Trust me, it's a wealth of knowledge. Give thanks. Asafo, big up yourself. John, the whole works. Andrea, big up yourself. Ato, big up yourself. To everyone that is participating in this discussion. Very informative, very inspirational,
Yeah, man.
So we have to keep the fire burning, Keep the truth burning. And the truth of His Majesty. Yeah, man. Best of love, man.
And
respect,
you have new music out, and so me no shame to tell people go and download the man thing and buy the music, because we have to support the artists them.
Yeah, man, give thanks. You need the support. Yeah, man, give thanks.
Rastafari. All right. After a while.
All right, give thanks.
All right.
Yeah, man, give thanks everyone for coming out, and just keep the link and
Weedamiah. Respect, sir.
Yes, sir. Let it not be a talk shop, but we put the words into action,
Yeah.
True.
Remember we met down at Eastwood Park Road.
Yeah, man, remember, Papa.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Yeah, man.
That's it, love.
Oh, man.
All right, I'll step.
So we are family, you don't know that.
Of course.
All right.
All the time.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. All right.
Bless the love. Give thanks.
Bless the love, everyone.
Bless the love, everyone.
Good and how pleasant it is,
Yeah, man. Blessed.
Rastafari. Give thanks.
Rastafari the first.
All right. Bless the love, Otto. Big up yourself.
Yes.
Good and how pleasant it is.
Weedamiah.
Yeah,
Andrea, McDonald.
Give thanks.
John, give thanks. Yes, I seal it up, Warrior King.
Good and how pleasant it is for I and I to come together in perfect unity. so precious in the sight of the Most High, you know. As you do that, went up on the beard, you know, in the precepts of Herman beard, you know. Aaron's beard that went up to the skirts of his garments. Give thanks to the gathering. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
I'm on protection, same way.
Seal it up nice, man. Give thanks for the reason it's a full up, you know, and I man learn a lot. And you probably see some of them things are reason of tonight through the works. Cause I know some talk through my
Respect to the artist, yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Respect to the artist.
Give thanks. Give thanks, Dan McDonald.
All of the different artists them who made them time available. You know, we big on the support. Support One Art of the Covenant on Instagram. Like, yeah, give out the Instagram tag them to the man them. At Warrior King 9. No, so
All right. Yeah, man, perfectly right. Man, perfectly right.
Yeah, man, at Warrior King 9. At Asafo Weedamiah, I'm a dub poet, you know. So, yeah, man. At Dutty Bookman, you see me, Bookman Express.
Yes.
At Royal Chant, like. So we are going to create a little
Roots Fest, you know.
To the email, Roots Fest, Ras Iyah V, and we are going to send out all of the information to everyone. And we are sending Ras Iyah V some credit to him phone, you know. And if the one them have Ras Iyah V number, on can just, you know.
Send some credit.
Just sell him some credit, you know. Cause he made
all right, give thanks.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, man, a great teacher, great teacher, great teacher.
Yeah,
Weedamiah, please forward his number to him, man.
Yeah, his number bounce out of the chat room. That's why I said, cause we need forward him number.
Yeah. When I get him number, forward that to him, and we'll give him a strength, you know.
That's all right.
And Warrior King, they have a new project?
Yeah, we have a new album coming out, you know. It's called Woman's Workshop.
Sure.
You know, but it's Afrocentric, like we have Mother Africa. We have a song out called Black Kill Black. I don't know, Andrea, you're familiar with the track, right?
That new?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Black Kill Black.
Yes.
It's up on iTunes. You can look it up. Black Kill Black.
No, I'm not going to look it up on iTunes. I'm going to buy it from iTunes.
All right, thank you so much.
Buy music.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Talk about music. I man actually purchase music.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, man.